Welcome back to another episode of the When It Matters podcast. I'm Elle Noble, Founders Associate at Mesh. I'm here with my fabulous co-host.
It's like an oversell there. I'm Hilary Lewis. I'm the fabulous co-host. I work as the community manager at the Digital Accountants Club.
And this is part of our special series for International Women's Day, celebrating and spotlighting some of the incredible women at the top of their game in accounting and finance in the UK. And we're here today with actually a When It Matters alumnus, Titus, who appeared on season 1, and Beth Jackson. Welcome.
Thank you for
Welcome
having us.
to the sofa.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Top of their game in the country makes it sound very fancy. You know, we're like, oh, babe, but I don't think we're in the right room.
You're a global top 50, Beth. Don't do that.
I forget these things.
Global. Emphasis on global.
Yeah, I think I knew that.
I forget. It was the ignition one. I forget about these things. It's just like, yeah, done. Next, what?
Next. Oh my god.
24, 25 you were. Top global 50. Top 50 women in
Hills was on it as well.
accounting.
This is why she remembers.
Oh my gosh, yes, you were.
Enough about me. More about Beth. Don't turn the light.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Fee, we've had your story on the pod before. It's an amazing story. Give us a quick whistle stop tour reminder and a little update on what you're up to now.
Yeah.
Because it's been like 6 months, I think.
Yeah.
Since you were last here.
Yeah, sure thing. So yeah, I'm Fee. I am one half of Fineo, and it's not named after me, I promise.
It should be.
Ask that. So bit of background, I qualified at Deloitte as a chartered accountant. I then quit to sell chicken on a market stall, to give you that bit before.
Favorite
Yeah,
plot twist.
the plot twist that everyone doesn't expect.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I got my love for SMBs and micro businesses, and I just kept seeing other businesses really struggling with accounting, tax, and finance. And with my accounting background, I was like, hey guys, I think I can help you out here. So yeah, I've just been obsessed with sort of closing that gap and that education piece between small businesses that have no idea what they're doing with their accounting, tax, and finance. And that's how I got to where I am now, where I guess accountant originally, now turned accidental tech founder, where I am obsessed with basically closing the gap between what small businesses access typically in the accounting and finance space and what accountants can provide to those micro businesses. So enter Fineo, where I have co-founded it with my brilliant co-founder Jackson, and we are building tools to help accountants better service micro businesses at scale.
So cool. I can't wait to do a bit of a deep dive into it. Beth, what about you? Give us the backstory. This is your first time on the pod. So give us the backstory.
I am one half of Two Sisters Accounting, which I run with my big sister. We're going over 8 years now, which is an alarming amount of time when you're like, oh my goodness, that is forever. My sister got pregnant when the business began. So like we have a living, breathing example of how old the business is in her daughter from like nothing to this child. And I'm like, oh God, I've been running a business that long. And again, like much like Fee, trying to help and educate small businesses with all this finance and accounting stuff, because it is mind-blowing when you don't know what's going on. And small businesses like take so much of that on themselves in like an embarrassment, shame way, like I should know what I'm doing, I can't believe I don't know this, I'm stupid, I can't do numbers, blah blah blah. And it's like, no, you just never taught it. Like, of course you don't know it, you were never taught it. Like, why would you know about VAT and whether you need to charge VAT to an American company when you've trained as a recruitment agent? Like, it's no wonder you don't know it. So just trying to break it down, make it as simple as possible, as unburdensome as possible, and just working with small businesses and trying to help them grow. Because small businesses are like the backbone of this country. They are what makes this country run, and yet they get so little help and support and have so little money available, that the more we can do to build that up, the better.
I love that. Yeah, the backbone of the country, 100%. And it's funny because the reason we started the pod in the first place is because, my CEO Mark and I realized that you guys are like the difference between a business sort of surviving / being roughly compliant and really thriving.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I guess, both of you are obviously incredible kind of finance professionals, numbers people, accountants, but also you're both builders, right? You both built things. When did you kind of realize, or like what was the journey to realizing that you were
I don't think I knew I was a builder.
I was
right now.
Oh wait, yeah.
Where's my hard hat?
Yeah, I think like very much how your face is looking right now is probably how I'm going to answer. I wasn't someone that I went to uni and studied the thing that I'm going to do now, and it's exactly that. Like, never. Like, I saw problems that needed solving and just went about trying to solve them. And in a squiggly way is how I've ended up here. But it's always been about what is the problem? What am I trying to solve? And I think that's how you build something, right? You by
That makes it sound even better. I was going to say I've just got a bit of a busy brain, and I'm not very good at not doing anything. So I just stuff happens. You know, you've got to be doing something, so stuff just happens, and then here we are.
I love that. Here we are.
You're quite good at like taking opportunities, though. I think if you're building something, you obviously can spot those.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say a lot of it's not intentional. Like a lot of it is just I have a busy brain. I'm not very good at not doing things. So much like Fee says, when someone comes to me and goes, "Oh, this isn't working," I'm like, "Well, we could do this, this, and this, and fix it." I think it's probably that I'm a fixer.
The solution.
Yeah, I'm a
Solutions.
solution orientated person. And so when I see there's issues, I'm like, "Well, we just need to do this and fix it." But because that's how I operate, I don't really see it as this grand process. But then I speak to other people, I'm like, "Oh no, that does happen, doesn't it?"
Yeah. I kind of like undersell it. I think it's so easy to like value yourself accidentally by like, yeah, like you built this incredible practice and you're like, oh,
This
yeah,
is just what I do.
this is just what I
This
do.
is just
Yeah.
life.
But I guess a lot of people take it for granted,
Mm.
like their skills, because I think especially for women, we're so used to just getting on with things without making too much of a vocal complaint or acknowledgement to the things that we're doing, that perhaps we just take the things that we're doing for granted, that not actually everyone can do it, that it's not a skill that everyone possesses. And
Yeah, I think that's very
You're
true.
so right. And actually, on like the accelerator program I went on, which is where Fineo was born, the feedback I got from the directors of the program were, "Fee, like you're way too humble." And in my head, I was like, "Oh, I thought I was good at saying, this is what I've done and this is what you can do." They're like, "Yeah, but you've got to big yourself up like you're like an American man." And I was just like,
Yeah.
okay. And it's funny now because when I know that I need to do that, it does feel like I'm cosplaying. I channel some dude called
persona.
Brad.
I was about to say, is he Chad, but he's Brad.
It was always
Get
going to
your
be Chad
on.
or Brad. Sorry to any Chads or Brads. But yeah, and I just, I have to become
Channel it up.
I have to become Brad.
I think it's just because like life keeps going, like you just keep living, like all this stuff is just happening day to day, whether you think about it or not, that you sort of don't really realize that you're doing something impressive, because it's not impressive. It's like I got up, I brushed my teeth, I sent some emails, I answered some phone calls, I ate my dinner, I went to bed. Like that's what happens to make the impressive stuff happen, and that's not impressive.
but don't you think
Does
it's
that,
that
does that
thing,
make any
No, I
sense?
get what you're saying, I get what you're
like
saying.
the fact that it's almost like the patriarchy at work, though, isn't it? Like the fact that for women it is that much harder. It's much harder for us to be in business just generally. The fact that we are just going through the motion of actually, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to brush my teeth, I'm going to take one step at a time. Like I think you guys are prime examples of like actually, like you saying, you have to channel that American man to get you to like talk about yourself. But it's that whole thing of, for a lot of women, it's that to be a good girl and to sit nice and prim and proper and quietly and not really shout about our achievements. It's something that we should all get better at. To be inspirational.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
I think I possibly just don't realize that, because there's always the next thing. There's always a person that's doing better than you, and there's always the next thing you want to achieve. So I think possibly mine's the opposite side. Like I'm happy to shout about it if I remember that I've done well, but often I'm like, but I could do better. But I could achieve more.
I think we need to find you an American persona. Chad. Brad and
I'll be
Chad.
Brad, you can be Chad.
You'll start your new podcast where you just literally like zone in on these chest bumps.
You heard it here now.
Yeah.
The Brad and Chad. There must be a podcast called Brad and Chad
There
already.
must be.
Probably about 12.
Guys, you heard it here first. Brad and Chad coming to your Spotify. No, but it's really interesting because I think something I do think women are really good about, the kind of sharing on LinkedIn and just generally, is like the emotional reality of running a business. I remember, I think the first time I came across you,
Oh God.
no, you wrote this amazing LinkedIn post about like the years of the
Oh,
business.
Yeah.
And I think, I can't remember if you'd already introduced me to Beth by then, but I remember being like, oh my God, I'm so invested in the journey, love the journey. And I guess, yeah, with you in terms of like, yeah, the emotional reality of like running running your businesses. Like, what does that look like for you, and how do you guys like handle the highs and the lows, and both coming from different environments as well, like accelerator and then your own practice. Like, yeah, I'd love to know, how do you guys handle that?
Okay, I've got two perspectives. So
Mm.
I've been self-employed for nearly a decade now, and I have had instances where I have been a sole founder, and that's really tough because not only do you have no one there to sort of share the lows with, and there are many lows when you're starting out a business, especially in your early days, but it's also there's no one there to share the highs. Like, you've got no one to like high five. And so I'm just really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this season where I have a co-founder.
You have someone.
Yeah, because I had a co-founder in my previous finance and accounting hub, and now I have a co-founder, and it's when things go right, you get to be like, yeah, you've got that someone to high five with. And also when things aren't quite going well, you've got another perspective. And I do think, salute to anyone doing the journey alone, because I've been there, and I think the hardest part of it is it's just it's lonely. I think the low parts are easy because there's so many, but for me, it's when no one's there to kind of give you a high five. You call your parent or your partner to explain this thing, and they're obviously like, oh great, but they
don't
don't
care.
get it.
And you have to give like 45 minutes of context and backstory and then be like, it is good, it's a big thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually so true. It's so anticlimactic.
Yeah, it's
You're
so
like, you've won or whatever, and then you're like, okay, great.
yeah, exactly.
That's actually so true.
Exactly. So yeah, I actually enjoy having a co-founder because you get to do the roller coaster together.
I mean, like running the business with my sister, that is having someone there really, really helps. I mean, I've got to be honest, the highs and lows, it really, again, like, it's International Women's Month, the hormones matter. Like, there are some weeks where everything's fine, and there's some weeks where the exact same thing will happen the next week, and you're like, no, I'm done. Desks are being thrown. Obviously, desks are never actually thrown, but it's like you have a day where your emails are just bombarding you constantly, and some weeks it's like, oh yeah, it's fine, it's chill, it's just emails, and some weeks it's like, why does everybody not want to leave me alone? But it all just depends on the week. I think what I'm at the point, we're 8 years in now, and I'm at the point where I'm much better at giving myself rest, taking time out, being nice to myself, and that makes such a difference. Actually, when I look back over the previous years of business, I mean, I was never working, so I was never a 7 days a week girly, but even like 5 full days was too much for me. That was exhausting me, and I was constantly just creeping along that line of burnout that we all like to sort of look at and be like, okay, maybe. So I think and it's really hard, but it's really hard to have work-life balance in the early days because you have to work too hard.
Yeah.
You have to push more than the person
Yeah.
next to you. You have to drive. Like, it is a little bit disingenuous as a business owner to say that you can have work-life balance in the early years of growing a business, because I personally don't think you can. You have to be obsessed with it. You have to be there all the time. You have to be doing it, which I know people don't want to hear, but it's the only way that you get clients. It's the only way you get a profit. And being like, oh no, I'm a brand new business and I'm only going to work 5 hours a day. It's like, well, good luck. But unless you're really, really, really an outlier, it's not going to work.
But this is why so many businesses fail, isn't it? I mean, I know like the stats are not really stacked in your favor if you're a startup. I think you guys must have to have some quite hard conversations, I imagine, with some of the people that you work with.
A lot of small businesses aren't viable. A lot of them, they're spending their tax money and they're on payment plans year after year after year. A lot of small businesses aren't actually viable. And a lot of the time, the phrase that I heard once was, yes, there's a gap in the market, but is there a market in the gap? Like, a lot of people are building businesses when there's nobody that's going to buy what they're selling. Like,
oh, I love that.
I'm a coach that helps bigger women love their body by getting them to swim in the ocean. Like, you're going to get maybe one client every 6 months because it's so specific. Like, yeah, that's a brilliant thing, but who's buying that? Or they go, I just need that one client that's going to pay me 10 grand a month. And it's like, but where are you finding them? Well, I'm going to go to the rich mums at the rich school. How are you going to get in there? Like, people have these great ideas, but they don't translate to reality. You've probably found this.
Yeah, I think I also think like as women, like, we're so obsessed with perfection as well. I'm obviously generalizing here, but I see it time and time again that it does mean that they don't treat everything like an experiment. And so, to your that using the examples you've used, I think people that think they're just going to find that £10,000 paying client from that one place
Yeah.
is likely going to fail. But it's because you need to go and test out and try out that messaging in lots of different places and learn and refine. And because we're so used to like hearing no as being like the worst word
Yeah.
ever and it cutting through your soul, we don't put ourselves in that position where actually, if you reframe how you're thinking about it, as opposed to, am I going to get this 100% perfect? But what am I going to learn by testing with this customer, trying this out, trialing this message, maybe a different location, and then you refine it and get better? That's how you actually end up
Yeah.
finding that £10,000 client. But it takes work. You're not going to find them day one, like to your point, unless you accidental luck, it's
But
struck
actually, you learn far more through
through
failure than you do
Yeah.
success. So if you just happened to stumble upon that first £10,000 client, actually replicating that would be really difficult. Whereas if you're data driven and you've gone through all
Yeah.
the hard work and all the testing to figure out actually what is the formula that works, that is repeatable, and then that is scalable, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. And so that's why, like, any woman I speak to who's thinking of starting a business and it's like, hi, Fee, I'm thinking of starting this. Like, what do you think? The advice I just give is everything is an experiment. Treat it like that. Love failure. It's your best friend.
See, I love that you have like as you were saying that, I was like, you're so right. And you have like this, failure's fine. You have a concept behind it. Mine's just, I'm a chronically impatient person. So I'm just like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I'm just throwing ideas out there because I'm just impatient. I have half an idea. I'm like, yeah, that'll work. Let's just give it a go. There's no like conscious failure format behind it, but that is why it works.
I think we always need to blend both because
Yeah.
actually,
meet somewhere sensible in the
yeah,
middle.
because actually people that are maybe too slow and don't put things out there who are waiting for it, it's also not going to happen. So you need your sense of urgency, just get it, and some experimentation.
No, it does work. It's just, you end up at the same place. It's just different methods.
And
Yeah.
that's a prime example, isn't it, that people do work differently. Different businesses are going to work differently.
Yeah.
And that's why there's no like one formula for business ownership, is there?
No,
No,
it'd be so
not
nice
at
if there
all.
was.
Yeah,
So
everyone
it's
could
just
follow the same.
10-step tick box and now I'm a millionaire. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Did you find actually, Fee, in the accelerator program that like changed your relationship with failure? Because the whole point of an accelerator is to like try out a bunch of things and maybe
Yeah.
fail or maybe find it. Yeah.
I think my relationship with failure, probably I got quite comfortable with failure
Mm.
earlier than that, which is probably why like I'm still here self-employed like 10 years later. I think it was, in fact, here's a great example. When I first started my street food business, which was my first ever attempt at a business, like I had
It's a big one to go in on.
I
Yeah.
when I
Is
looked,
this the chicken?
yeah,
Is this
carrot-
Lime Hut?
yeah, Lime Hut, yeah.
Shout out.
Which, yeah, shout out Lime Hut. But I owe everything to all the naive things I did when I first started that business. But I was such a perfectionist. Like, I planned out everything, like, to a T. And then I remember setting up the market stall on the first day, and a customer just, like, looked at how we'd set things up, like the food, the equipment, everything, and just went, why have you got that on that side? Surely if it was here, it would just make more sense. And I was just like,
Great,
yeah,
thanks.
great.
But
I
did
don't-
you listen to your customer?
No, I did. But I think the point is, I had spent months planning something that actually clearly wasn't actually that important, could be changed quite quickly, that just needed the market validation to tell me that like it would make more sense for the queuing system, everything. And in that moment, I was just like, huh, yeah, I like
Fine.
exactly. And it's just like getting that kind of feedback really
that-
quickly is
But
what
that
what you need.
willingness to change and evolve your business, that in itself is something that not every business owner has.
So true.
No, that's very true. But I think if you don't have that, you're probably not gonna do very well in business. Like you respond to, I mean, you might get the odd client or the odd customer that you're not going to just change everything for, right? But if you start to get a couple similar comments, you may be thinking, actually, probably this isn't personal, but like, is there a way in which this could be done better?
Yeah.
Am I not communicating this in the right way? You can just start to think about how you just make it a better
I don't want to do
experience.
it the way they want me to do it, but I could adjust what I want to do to sort of meet halfway, and then everyone's slightly happier.
Yeah, no, for sure.
A lot of people see feedback as quite a negative thing, but actually it's
Yeah.
like gold when it comes to being a business owner. If you
Absolute
can take it
gold.
on board and
It's just so hard to get feedback. 'Cause I think I know I'm the same. People ask me for feedback and they're like, "Oh, what do you think? What would you change?" I'm like, "No, that's fine." Like, unless you catch me in the moment where something's annoying me, if you ask me for like, those generic forms, you're like, oh, it was all right.
Yeah.
That's so
That's
true.
so true. Capturing feedback is really hard.
It's really hard. I don't know the
Yeah,
right
like
way to do
product
it.
development.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
And
Yeah.
no, it is. And
So
getting
true.
like real feedback, because especially when you're speaking to someone, like even if it's on a Zoom call, you're not in front of, like physically in front of them, but especially building in the UK and Ireland, like culturally everybody's very polite, like,
So
which is
true.
obviously great. But you're like, tell me what you really think.
Tear it apart.
Like, yeah, like that would be the best thing to do right now. And culturally, everyone's like, oh yeah, I don't know. Tell me. Please tell me.
You need like, ask children. Children are brutal.
Shattered
Yeah.
bread would tell you. Like, this is one of my theories why I think San Francisco is just like the place where everybody goes to build, because people are like really brutally honest, and America just doesn't have the same, like,
Yes.
I don't know. Have you read The Mom Test? The Mom
Oh, I
Test.
have. It's my favorite book.
Oh,
Anyone who wants to build
Oh.
anything, yeah, you need to mum test the hell out of it.
Mom
For anyone,
I-
you're
I- I
looking
was
like you want to
yeah,
know.
Are
yeah.
you saying
This is
M-U-M or M-R, like
No,
Marmite?
mum, as an American mum,
Mom.
Oh,
M-O-M.
okay.
But yeah, it
Yes.
is
I
mum.
couldn't work out if
Mummy.
it was like an abbreviation of Marmite or
Yeah.
like you either love it or you hate it. It's like,
No.
you do the mom test.
Yeah, no,
There's
the mum
something there, I
test.
think.
No, it's yeah, no, it's that book is brilliant. And when I saw the title, I naively got it wrong. I thought it meant, oh, you build a product that is so easy to explain to even your mum. And I thought it was a bit patronizing. I was like, maybe some
Yeah.
mums are tech savvy.
Why is it not dad?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that
What's
originally.
the actual like
So
theory?
the actual thing is, because your mum loves you so much and you tell her, this is what I'm building, she'll be like, oh, of course, honey, it's great. And actually, what you need to do is ask the right questions that aren't leading questions that get you
Oh, okay,
the real
interesting.
answers you need to hear to build. And so, you have to go deep. When you don't want to ask a leading question. You don't want to say, do you prefer the green or the blue? You'd be like, what kind of colours do you tend to pick when shopping? Oh, I don't know why I said shopping. When painting, I don't know.
No, I get it. Okay, yeah.
And then when they say something, you pick up on that and you'd be like, okay. So, and you go deeper to actually find out people's real motives for why they do something, why they behave in certain ways.
The sort of questions that when you're answering them, by the end you feel wildly uncomfortable.
Probably,
I'm
actually.
confused.
Probably.
It's like that whole X Factor thing where someone will go and say, she'll be like, my mum has always said that I'm and then they open their mouth and everyone's like, oh god. And something I asked lovely Vanessa and Arlene in episode 3 was just around like visibility around scaling and your relationship with scaling kind of potentially at all costs versus knowing what success really means to you. I'd really love your perspectives on this.
It's a huge question.
Yeah.
I have actually I've decided I've opted out of.
I'm tapping out.
I'm tapping. Like, if we will continue to grow.
Yeah.
Like slow, steady, as we have since day one. We've been very slow, steady. But I don't want to work. I don't want to work, but I don't want to work 50-hour weeks. I don't want to work, God love her, I don't want to work 7 days a week like Fee does. Like, at the moment, I'm working 9 till 3. I'm working school hours and I don't have kids. I'm earning enough to live a comfy life. Like, I'm not buying new handbags every week, but I don't want to anyway. For me, like, it's chill, it's easy. I provide a good client, like good service to my clients. I like working with them. I have enough money that I'm not panicking about it all the time. More money would be great, but this comes with more stress. I'm opting for the chill life, and I sort of am finding more and more people that are like, actually, I think this might be how I want to do it. Like, the £1 million firms, absolute fair play to them, and I really respect people that, like, especially the women from ground up that have built that, like our noble leader Jerry at DAC. Like, she's done so well, and like the stuff that she passes down, I think, oh God, I can see how you've done this. This is incredible. I just can't be bothered. Just can't be bothered.
Love this. Yeah. It's so real. Yeah.
For me, I think I have run lifestyle businesses in the past. And those are exactly like that. You work the hours that you want to work. You essentially it fits with your lifestyle. It covers your bills, it lets you go on a few holidays. That's what you're building for. With Fineo now, we have not started our fundraising journey just yet. It depends on when this podcast goes out. But yeah, like it's definitely not a lifestyle business. Looking to genuinely impact as many accountants and small businesses as possible, and I've accepted that that means it's not a lifestyle business. And I don't think there's anything wrong with high growth scale businesses or lifestyle businesses. I just think you have to do what makes sense for you and for what your aims are. And so I really don't like how there's a lot of people really talk down on lifestyle businesses. And I don't get it. Especially you have just described your 9 to 3 lifestyle. Maybe I should be rethinking. No.
Like you're in the no life work balance point of
a point of building. Exactly.
building.
And like, yeah, you're right. If I was still in that point in 10 years time, like something's clearly gone very wrong. And exactly.
You're in the you don't get to sleep part of growing the business. I sort of did all of that and now I'm like, oh no, I'm very tired.
Yeah. But I'm also very conscious that, if I am going for a high growth business and wanting to scale, we should talk about what does high growth and scale look like for women.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. every single day and at some point in your life going to have kids, like we're both we both do not have kids, we're both not parents, we're the parent free kid free it's like we can make so many choices right now. You're choosing to do that, I'm choosing to do this right now, but actually if we were to have families, I think priorities change in different ways. And I'm not saying you would do this, but maybe you'd be like, oh, actually life's got a little bit more expensive, maybe we're doing 9 to 4 rather than 9 to 3.
Thank you.
It's what does that look like when you're growing a super high growth business as a woman? I'd like, for the women that have done it before, there's so many women I see that have like toddlers and they're building like this hugely scalable business. And I'm like,
but then don't you think that that's sometimes it is definitely the village the community have, but I think sometimes, especially with social media, that perception that you can have it all is constantly put out there, and I think that can sometimes be almost that extra element of pressure that we're supposed to be seen as these put together, well dressed, have amazing personal brands, have amazing presence on socials, be able to be at all the school functions and the pickups, and be an amazing wife to our amazingly good and it's like, it's just that's not sustainable, that's not real life. Like, everyone are going to have their moments and everyone are going to have their own priorities to work to, isn't it? And just being, I think the most important thing that other women can do to help other women is to be honest about the journey that they are on and sharing the experiences and the stories behind how they got there. And
it's like you see so many things. Like, it always bores me when I see personal trainers being like, I work with Sally, she is a 7-figure CEO and she still finds time for the gym because she puts it in her diary and she makes it a priority. And I'm like, that's actually easier for a 7-figure CEO because she has control of her diary, she has autonomy to do that. Like, you saying that to someone who's like working 9 to 5 with kids, they can't put an hour in the middle of their day to go to the gym. Their boss is going to tell them to get out, or like, try not to swear, but like, it's like, it's so unrealistic. Or someone in your stage of growing a business, it's like, well, no, because I have clients to keep happy, I have funders to keep happy, I need to speak to these people. Like, it's not realistic to suddenly be like, no, actually between the 9 hours of 10 and 11 a.m. I am at Pilates. It is not a negotiable. It's like, not everybody has the
luxury.
So true.
But that's the same with like everything in business, isn't it? Like, the priorities that you have as a business owner are not going to be the same as the business owner next door. And you have to decide what your priority is and what your goal is. And I think not enough businesses work with a strategy behind them to attain that goal and keep that goal in mind, and also keep reevaluating the strategy that they're using. Because like you were saying before Fee, like, if you're testing things, you can see what works and what doesn't, but if you're not analyzing the data after you've done the tests, like, it's pointless,
meaningless.
isn't it? Recalibrate is the.
And then it's so hard because you have your goals and you think you know what you want, and then you open Instagram and you see someone doing something, you're like, what? I want that. And then you're like, no, I don't. I don't want that. But they have it.
It's so true. I'm always like in awe of people who are running, like, whether it's an accounting practice or something else, and also have kids. I think Ness was actually talking about that earlier. It was really interesting. And I guess to kind of potentially sort of look to finish up a little bit, the theme for this year's International Women's Day, which I didn't know it had a theme until
Yeah.
this year. But yeah, the theme this year is Give to Gain,
Okay.
which is like, it's all about collaboration and support, putting things in, getting things out. And I would love to know for you guys, what's one thing that you've like given in your kind of career that you're really proud of, something you feel like you've put out there, and what have you kind of gained from like your career journey?
Ooh.
It's philosophical. We're going deep.
So we have, on the side of Two Sisters Accounting, we have sex worker friendly accounting, which is specifically aimed at helping, well, just giving judgment free, proper financial, like accounting advice to sex workers, because they're often really left behind or laughed out of meetings, judged, whatever. So, but there's also a lot of people within sex work that are survival sex workers that aren't, the people that you see on Olivia Atwood's Getting Filthy Rich, because most of that is not real, let me tell you. But I do a lot of workshops with that community, teaching them about tax, finance, money, savings, making tax digital, all of that sort of stuff, and I love it. Like this, it's always fun. They're always really grateful. It's always a good like session. So that's my give. I do it not just for that. For all small businesses, I'm always happy to do a free workshop. I can't go to like a group of women in business who are really struggling and be like, oh yes, I charge £500 to show up and tell you about tax. I'm like, look, just come along and you pass the goodness back into the world. So that's what I give, and what I get is this rooms like this community. Like I wouldn't have a lot of the business friends that I do that have become friends if it wasn't for running a business. And I think like the people that you meet along the way.
It's about the journey.
Yeah. It's about the Brad and chat.
Oh, that's so awesome. I actually didn't know that you had that. Yeah.
It's really
No,
it's
that's
really fun.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
empowering
incredible.
as well. Like that's
Yeah.
like that's like I love the whole kind of feminist element that you're giving
Yeah.
back to that area. That's
I just get to do there's no offense to small businesses. I love small businesses, but the sex workers, there's more passion there. There's more, I care about it more. There's more of a drive than just,
Yeah.
another, like it's a really diverse industry, but they just don't get the advice and accounting support that they need.
How did you, like that's, I mean, it's such a good idea. I can imagine that is so needed. Like, how did you kind of realize that this was a
One of my friends is a pro dominatrix and was like, the girls in the WhatsApp chat are always asking for accountants. And I was like, oh my God.
oh my God.
Niche. Wait, gap in the market. Much like Beth, I care about, I guess, giving financial information and access to communities that don't always have it. And actually, Coco Financial, my business before Fineo, was entirely created to help underrepresented communities understand their tax, accounting, and finance. So typically women-led businesses and also ethnic minority founders who often are, maybe at least in a UK setting, might be the first in their family to have started a business generationally, and they don't get to say, oh, I'll just ask my dad's accountant, whereas I went to a boarding school where I'd say lots of my friends probably could say to their dad, like, Dad, can I just speak to your accountant? And so it's, I just really care about democratizing finance. And so we created a safe space where there was no such thing as a silly question. And what I got from that was just seeing people, like, see a light bulb moment go off where they're just like, oh, this thing that sounded really complicated on the HMRC website, I get it. And seeing people leave our workshops physically walking taller. This was back like pre-COVID, where you actually did workshops in person,
It's
not
just
just
so great when you
not
find
just
when
online.
someone goes, "This never made sense before," and I get it, and you're like, "Yes,
exactly." And to see people get the light bulb and walk out taller, I was just like, oh, we're doing exactly what we need to be doing here. And that wasn't some like social charitable thing. It is a for-profit business, but it was just helping the people that looked like us and we wanted to service. So
amazing."
yeah.
And then what you get?
Oh, what do I get?
Yeah.
Oh, I just said I get to see them walk tall. What do I get? Yeah, it's obviously it's the people, isn't it? I think because once you build a space of trust, people trust you and they recommend you to others, and you just get to meet so many interesting businesses. And I think that is the best part of being in working in accounting and finance, is that you meet so many awesome businesses doing so many things, whether it's a cool hipster bagel store or if it's a pro dominatrix. It's you just get to meet so many people, and you're better for having more experiences of meeting people because you understand the world way more. So yeah.
It's all about the journey.
It's about the journey. Because that's such a lovely answer. So to wrap up, my last question. So we'd like to finish the podcast. I think Fee, you might have already done this actually when you came on for
Oh.
season 1. But we'd like to finish the podcast with a little nomination or kind of spotlighting another woman in the accounting or finance space who's doing something cool, who needs some recognition, and yeah, you want to kind of celebrate. Does anybody? You can do one or two. Sometimes two for feeling. Yeah.
So there is a lovely lady called Alice DY Mills who runs Looking Glass Solutions, and she does a lot of helping businesses really understand their profit and loss, their balance sheet, making their financial plans, building their budget, sticking to their budget, planning their cash flow. And like, she does it pro bono for a couple of small businesses in Brighton, which I think is incredible of her. I don't know how she does it, but obviously she also charges for it. But the difference that I've seen her make in businesses is huge. And because she's not an accountant, she can do it from a slightly different angle and just really, and it's the transformation she's put into businesses is huge. But it's, again, it's one of those things that everyone goes, well, my accountant does that, but they don't want to pay their accountant to do that. They sort of think it should be done within the 50 quid a month that they want to pay for it, which we do not charge. But so I think she's a great example of what more people need to be aware, that that service exists, and it does make a huge difference for businesses, and she's working really hard. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing.
Am I allowed to say two?
Yeah.
So an accountant in practice. Her name is Nicole Zalis. And she's just a badass accountant, basically. Yeah, she's based in London. Yeah, she services London-based businesses, and she just has a really she's got an amazing presence on social media and just really breaks down in really simple terms like things that you can do as a limited company.
we were talking about her earlier, and I was like, she's one of the most glamorous like goddesses of accountants I've ever seen. I just watch her videos and I'm like,
yeah, you're like, I'm
Goddess
getting
accountant.
accounting advice and I feel like I'm looking through a Vogue
Yeah.
magazine.
And she's telling me I need to up my wardrobe without ever saying it.
And my second one is so her Instagram name is Finance is Fun with Rach. I don't know if you've ever come across that. Rach, she's so brilliant. I just love, that's on the personal finance side. She will call you out if you are a spendy Wendy and like to spend your money as soon as payday hits. She will read you for filth, and I love her for it. She's all about
Amazing.
saving, investing, and she just makes it really fun and spicy. So yeah.
Shout out
Amazing.
Rach. And I don't, have I asked you this yet? No, because you finished this series.
I will to finish this series. To be fair, there is one person that stands out massively for me, and this is going to sound like I have got such a girl crush, but it is my boss. It's Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry
Shout out,
Williams
Jerry.
is incredible. When I very first met her, she was one of the first female accountants that I met in person when I started my journey in finance, and I was just in awe of her. She's one of those people that she's got an amazing. I mean, if you don't know who Jerry Williams is, then you might as well have been living under a rock, because she's got such a huge social presence on like Instagram and LinkedIn. But she is one of the kindest, most genuine, giving people, and she helps so many. And all she spends her time, I mean, that woman does not switch off. She's like, she works at light speed. She's got 2 boys. She started her business, with a laptop in her garage. She has really been incredible in her journey, but she's just so giving of all her time, and she seems to have so much time and patience and genuinely care. Like the level of, as I think Beth, you said earlier, the stuff that she shares inside DAC, like she literally gives all her working papers out. She does her like quarterly coaching session, like anything that she's got in her business that she thinks I could share this to help others, she does.
She does, yeah.
So she's phenomenal, and Yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
those things that I think it would make a lot of people cringe to hear, like technically an employee speak about their boss, but it is true. Like, I am in awe of her, and so when she did say, "Do you want to come and work with me?" I was like, "Oh my god, yes!"
Yeah.
I do, like, yes, I do. I want to be around you, because I think that is the one thing I would not necessarily finish on, but I think for any woman, having good, solid people around you who inspire you to be better and to do more, you are only going to see your own life improve with the way that the
Yeah,
people
it's
that you're
huge.
surrounding from, and it makes a big
Yeah.
difference. So,
It
like,
does.
that's something that I think is really important to gain and to give.
Give.
It's
Yeah.
that community that you're a part of.
Perfect note to end on. I think, yeah. Oh, guys, thank you so much for being our
Thanks
fourth
for having
guest.
us.
This was so much
So,
fun.
yeah.
I know, I've had a lovely
Keep
time.
going. International Women's Year?
Yeah. And every year's Women's Year.
And Hilary, thank you so much for being my
No,
fabulous co-host.
thank
The
you for
fabulous
having
co-host
me.
is like the
Yeah,
title.
the fabulous co-host. I want that now. That should be my
Thank
title.
you.
Thanks so much, everyone.